Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Danielle Miraglia.
Letting the sun shut out the news. I wanna lie in bed all day with you. It's a mess of blues out there. Stay here with me. Every petal outside is love me not. Every sneeze sounds like a gunshot. Lock yourself inside where you're free. 'Cause every time you leave, every time you leave, there's a cold breeze every time you leave. I hold my breath to get along. I won't break my own heart for a song. Life will do you wrong on its own. We're a winning bet, still going strong. I found one love and held on, and I keep on till my spot is blown. 'Cause every time you leave, every time you leave, there's a cold breeze every time you leave. Well, I almost lost you, and that thought won't quit. It's gonna take a long life to get over it. Your eyes are dark and the day is bright. You borrowed from today to feed last night. This ain't a fight, it's a plea. Let's live like those morning people live. Collect all the sunshine the sky can give. Pull the covers up over your head if you agree. 'Cause every time you leave, every time you leave, there's a cold breeze every time you leave. There's a cold breeze every time you leave. Take some beats and drop them in. Build your tracks. Now you're a rock star in your head. Open your mouth and say some things. Call them facts. Preach like gospel and watch it spread. And everything is true now. Grab whatever you can use. Throw it in a pile and make your own news. We imagined the monster and we made it real. I believe anything that I already feel. The sky is falling, and I don't think it's rain. We're marching right into the fox's mouth. The man who mutters to himself is sounding pretty sane. The call is coming from inside the house, and everything is true now. Grab whatever you can use. Throw it in a pile and make your own news. We imagined the monster and we made it real. I believe anything that I already feel. And if you is true now. Grab whatever you can use, throw it in a pile, and make your own news. Make your own news. Make your own news. Make your own. We imagined a monster and we made it real. We imagined a monster and we made it real.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Talkin' Tunes. I am your host, Frank Walsh. Thanks for tuning in today. Now, for one of you 2 or 3 people who might be living under a rock for the past several years, my guest here is well known into the music scene. She is a local musician who has played all over the country, and I wouldn't be surprised if she had played around the world. She is a multi-award winner, and we're going to talk about some of that stuff today. She is a sassy lassie, so it gives great pleasure to introduce to you to my friend, great singer-songwriter musician, Miss Danielle Miraglia. Danielle.
Hi, how you doing?
How's that for an intro?
That was great. That
Was it? Was it? I stayed up
really
all
high.
night thinking all night. And,
Now I feel like I need to be sassy now.
Yeah, you are a sassy
No
lassie.
pressure.
And it was funny, before we move on, just yesterday I was listening to Mary Chapin Carpenter, who
Yeah.
is one of my favorite women, and she's a little sassy lassie.
Yeah, she's great.
I met her one time, she was playing with Martin Sexton, and I
Yeah.
hung around with her and hung around with them backstage, and she's got that little edge to her, and so do you, and I like that. But we're going to get into that a little bit more later. So Danielle, for those 2 or 3 people living under the rock, let's roll back the clock a little bit, and why don't you talk a little about how you get into music, and pick a starting point, and then we'll go from there, and I'll jump in wherever I need to.
I mean, do you want it like from?
I know you were
Like
born in a hospital
being
because
a
you wanted to be
morsel?
near your mother, right? You wanted to
What's
be
that?
near your mother,
Yes,
so
yes.
you were born in a hospital. So we can skip past that.
We can skip past that.
Yeah, when did you start getting involved in music, and let's talk about from there, and go from there.
So I'll do the fast forward from childhood. I always loved music from the minute I could be aware
Right.
of it.
Did you beat up all the boys in the sandbox? Or?
No, actually, I had a couple of older boys who lived upstairs from me
Really?
in Everett, Mass. and I was listening to everything, but mostly Michael Jackson was huge at the time, so I loved the pop music of the time. And these boys upstairs were like, "You got to listen to rock music," and so that's how I got into the Rolling Stones, and and I had a cousin who got me into Ozzy when I was 6 years
Really?
old, and so I always had these influences in my life who got me into music. And then fast forward to I was about 13, and we used to go see some of the kids, the high school kids, play at a place where my mom was bartending, and one of them was a brother of my best friend at the time, and we would watch them play, and I was just I was probably about 12 at that
Really?
time, and I said, I want to play guitar.
Did you have any music in the family?
My mom's side is very musical. Neither of my parents actually play an instrument, but my mom's side is, my grandfather was a trumpet player in the big bands.
Okay.
And his brothers also played. And I hear all these stories about family jams once a week. They would all
Really?
get together, and so there's definitely music on that side of the family.
Cool.
And I have cousins who sing in choirs and stuff like that.
What bar did your mother work? Because I'm sure she probably threw me out once or twice.
Oh, it's not there anymore. It was called Cafe Portofino, and it was in
I'm familiar with
it
that.
was in Lynn.
I'm familiar with that.
Are you really? Yeah, right
I'm
near where the
famil-
porthole is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that. I used to zip up Route 1. So
Yeah,
I
really.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah, it was short-lived. It was there
Yeah.
for just a short
Yeah.
time.
For
Yeah.
still being this handsome, I'm a lot older than I look. But, I told you we'd have some fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you started playing the guitar, when you were around 13, did you
Yeah,
say?
and I pretty much
Just picked it up? You said, I'm going to
picked
go
it
out
up.
and get a guitar?
Well, my mother's, who became her boyfriend for most of my teen years, he was courting her at the time and said, "Oh, your daughter wants to learn guitar. Here, borrow my guitar." He gave her a guitar to bring home to me. And it was this he said it was a Kramer, but it didn't have any name on it or anything. It was just this cool, cool looking wood electric guitar. with
It
like
did
a
have
nice
strings, though,
finish.
right?
It had strings.
Oh, okay, good.
And I picked it up and I immediately learned Iron Man single note by ear.
Really?
That was the first thing I wanted to do, was just like, how do I play this? It was like ding, 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 just
Good for
playing
you.
it one string at a time. And then I had, my friend's father played guitar, so he gave me a couple of lessons and like gave me this book to learn how to read music. And I kind of I was like, oh, I don't want to learn When the Saints Go
Was
Marching
it easy
In.
for you, or was it easy to learn?
I think it's easy to learn if you just want to learn it,
Okay.
So for me, it was like, I immediately skipped over all that. I was like, this is boring, and I just try to learn songs by ear, which is like for better or for worse.
Right,
I'm not a great song. I'm not a great sheet music reader. I could kind of do a couple of single note things, but I'm not great with that. So I mostly learned by ear, and then mostly through friends who played. And
Did you have a good sense of rhythm? Like when you were
I think
listening to those songs,
I naturally.
did you have a good sense of
I
rhythm?
always
to
I
pick that
danced
up?
when I was a kid too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I always had a internal rhythm for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure that helps.
Yeah, and I developed some bad habits because I didn't have any formal teaching. So it was it took me time to,
What's
I was
a bad
in a
habit?
band.
I'm
I
not
had-
a musician, even though
Well-
I play one on TV.
So I'm skipping ahead for a second
Yeah,
here in the
go ahead.
timeline, but for the first bunch of years that I actually played music out, I was mostly playing acoustic music. So I was
Okay.
playing solo most of the time. And on the occasion when I would play with a band, I didn't know to count them in. I didn't
I
know
got
to
you, I
figure
got
out
you.
your tempo before you count the band in, and it took me some time to learn how to do that. And so
Okay.
as a result, I would start slow and then I'd speed up.
Oh, I got you.
And I
I
still
thought you
kind
meant
of speed up
technically
sometimes.
that you made some
but-
technical errors as bad habits technically.
No, I mean, I even teach the students I have, I teach them to go with what your body is telling you to
Right,
do. So, there's bad habits, but there's also just
Mm-hmm.
what feels right for you. I don't think there's a total hard rule for
Mm-hmm.
how to hold your guitar or, but there are things that are not going to result in
Right. Mm-hmm.
that are not going to have good results, but for the most part you feel that out. Anyway, so
When did you discover your voice? You have a great voice.
thank
when,
you.
When did that come about? When did you learn that?
I
Hey,
didn't-
I can sing.
I didn't really start singing till I sang as a kid, sang along to songs and
Sure.
everything, but I didn't really start developing my voice till I started playing out.
Really?
When I was probably about 21.
Really?
Yeah.
So in between that 13 and 21, how did you, develop your chops? Did you play, garage band, or did you play
Just
with
playing
friends?
playing with friends, and occasionally playing. Then later, through college, I didn't really play that much, but I would occasionally pick it up and play Bobby McGee at a party or something, and bring,
right,
and
right.
people would be like, woo, and it was like, okay, maybe there's something to this, I was
Where'd
like,
you
that
go to
feels
school?
good. I like that.
Where'd you go to school?
Emerson.
Good for you. Great school for
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, it's
Music
not.
and theater.
I went for creative writing, so that contributed to the songwriting.
We're kindred spirits. I taught creative writing.
Did you really?
I taught at UMass Boston
Oh, wow.
and Boston, the old Boston State College. I
Oh, I
taught
didn't know that. That's
creative writing, interpretive poetry, and creative thinking.
That's great.
And I used a lot of music. I mean, I was listening to, let's swap seats. You can swap, but I played music when I was like this. So
Yeah.
as I developed into a teacher, I would always use music
Yeah.
into writing.
Yep.
And whenever I was teaching the parts of speech, alliteration and metaphor and all that other stuff, I would bring in songs.
What songs were some of the songs that you would bring in?
I did a lot of Crosby, Stills, Nash and
Yeah.
Young.
Yeah.
Helplessly Hoping.
Yeah,
Her
yeah.
Harlot hovers nearby. Alliteration. And I would bring in all of these songs that would have. If I was teaching metaphors and similes, I would bring in music
Yeah.
that had that.
Oh, that's
you
cool.
know. And then creative writing I loved. I
Yeah.
write all the time. I write songs. I write poetry. I
Yeah.
write all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you write when you were learning how to do writing? What were you writing?
I was all over the place. I mean, I was like my degree ended up just being a Bachelor of Arts in it was like creative writing
Creative
and
writing.
literature. Was
Could you
was
teach?
the
Did you have
title.
a teaching background behind that? Get certified or anything?
I mean, I would probably have to get my master's if I wanted to actually
Not back
be a
then, not really.
professor.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I could teach in the same way I teach songwriting, which is just with prompts and that kind
Okay.
of thing, But back then, I thought, well, I had this thing where I was like, I'm gonna graduate and then I'm gonna move to Arizona. I don't know. I just was like, I had this fantasy about moving to Arizona and typing
you?
out novels on like
No.
a typewriter and
Yeah, yeah.
wearing sundresses all day and a little Adobe.
Awesome. Awesome. That's awesome.
And so, and I actually, I took a trip with my best friend out to the Grand Canyon. We went to Phoenix and then drove through Sedona, spent a couple of days there, went to the Grand Canyon.
Beautiful.
And we hadn't seen much of the world at that point at all, so it was just like, dude, we're so small and the world is so big.
Amen.
There's so much out here. And it
When
was
you
just
stand at that Grand
this-
Canyon, you
Oh,
know,
it's
you realize
unbelievable.
you realize that, you know,
It's like,
it's
It's
can't
huge.
explain it to you can't explain it to somebody.
yeah, you can't. It's just,
You
it's
know?
mind blowing when you
Yeah,
first
you
see
can't
that. It's
explain
like,
it when you're sitting on that
wow.
when you're standing on that rim.
Yeah.
And you're looking right down at the Colorado
Yeah.
River. That's 1 mile down.
It's breathtaking.
And
It's
you know, it's as big as a
absolutely-
ribbon, but
Yeah.
it's like a mile wide.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing.
So that-
Sadly, the only hotel in the Grand Canyon burnt down over the weekend with
Oh,
fires out
no.
there.
I
Yeah,
didn't
the
know
only
that.
one that they had, the oldest one built back in the 30s.
Oh, God.
20s, and then they rebuilt it in the 30s.
The one that's like in the canyon.
It
you're
burnt,
talking
yeah,
about.
it burnt
Wow.
down. Yeah, it went down. They were having
Oh my
bad
God,
fires
that's
out
so
there.
sad. I
Yeah,
didn't
I just
know
heard
that.
that last night.
Wow.
Horrible.
That's awful.
Yeah. So you went to Arizona. You know, did that
Yeah,
expand
so-
your mind at all, and did that open
It
up your
did.
mind for creativity?
It made me not necessarily, I didn't necessarily want to then, I was like, change my mind about actually moving out there. But what it did was it made me decide to start going to open mics around here because I think I ended up playing a couple of songs for some
Really?
boys we met or whatever.
Now, were you from
And they were
East,
like, "You're
were
really
you from
good."
East Boston,
Yeah.
transplant to Everett?
Revere. Well, I was in
Revere.
Everett when I was little, actually, when I was really little, and
Okay.
then we moved to Revere when I was
Revere.
8.
I played a lot of ball in
so
Revere.
I grew up mostly in Revere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool place over there. But there, you know, they didn't have a lot of music there unless you go to Ed Ash's over there.
Bill Ash's. I've never played a gig in Revere in my life.
Really?
It's weird, but when I was
Even on the boardwalk,
I was
some of
just
the
there
stuff
with
they
my
would have?
husband yesterday.
Yeah?
We live in Everett again.
Tom
now.
Bianchi, by the way.
Yeah, Tom Bianchi, my husband. We and it's like fancy now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
so
it's
we
ridiculous.
We ate at this place. We ate at one of the Mission on the Bay places, you know, on the beach it's called. And we're walking up. There's like a Starbucks and a hotel. I'm going, I'm in Revere right now.
Exactly.
This is so weird.
And
When I
Bianchi's
was there-
Pizza, which used to be
I
the
love
hole in the
Bianchi's
wall.
Pizza. Yeah.
Now it's a fancy
Well,
restaurant.
it's part of the restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, I drove by
Still
there a
good
couple of
pizza.
weeks ago coming back from the North Shore, and I did the same thing. I said, I
Yeah.
could go by the beach.
Yeah.
It's
unbelievable.
and they're doing the same
But it
thing
was
to
really
Hull.
nice. It
They're
was
doing the
actually
same
really
thing to
nice
Hull.
because I was like, when I grew up here, there was nothing here except for Bill Ash's, Sammy's
Bill Ash's,
Patio,
right.
and Kelly's.
Right.
You know, and I never spent a lot of time in it. You know, we get pizza at Bill Ash's
Right,
sometimes,
right.
but pretty much just walk the beach and that was it. I don't even
Right.
remember a lot of people going to that beach to hang out. We used to
Right.
go up to Nahant to go to the beach.
Now, when did you start, start really making it? You said you started playing, around 21, 22, you started getting out there. And
Yeah.
talk about how you get into the scene and, walk us down that path to your evolution of where you are.
After that Arizona trip, I came back and I looked at, in like the Boston Phoenix for open mics. And I found the Kendall Cafe in Cambridge.
Kendall Square, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just said, I'm just going to go and check it out. I didn't go with my guitar. I just went to see what was happening. And I went and it was like, there'd be one person and I'd be like, wow, they're really good. I couldn't do that right now. And I'd see someone else be like, all right, I could probably do that. You kind of see such an array of levels when you go to an open mic. And I also, so I went, I did that, and I came back the next week and signed up. Mm-hmm. And it was like at that time, Leanne, this woman, Leanne, who was running it, she would just, you'd all be there like talking to people and mingling, and then she would just, instead of having you line up, she would just put the list down.
Really?
So you'd be like talking to someone, you'd be like, ugh! As soon as she put the list out, everybody'd be like, ah, like animals, like, scrambling to get to the list. So that night was the night. It was the night before Thanksgiving, so it was not as busy that night, which is weird because usually bars are more busy. But so she gave us 3 songs. I didn't even have 3 songs. I only did 2.
Did you only do 2? Or
I only
did you
did
fake
2
it?
because
You
I
didn't
only
fake a
had
third
3.
one?
I only had 2. I had
What
2
were they? Do you
original
remember what
songs.
they were?
Horrible. Like they were terrible. They were cheesy breakup songs. They were just.
Did you write them? Or?
I wrote them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They were
All
songs
right,
that I had
okay.
written back. So that's the other thing. I started writing songs because we didn't have phones back then to look at when we were bored. So I'd be maybe waiting for someone to pick me up to go out, and I'd be like picking up my guitar. I started turning my poetry into songs, and
Yep, nice.
so that's what happened. And it was terrible at the time, but the people were really supportive. and it was like, oh, I just found like my people. I found my
Yep.
tribe. It was like, oh, they were like supportive regardless of the fact that it was, it wasn't very good. And then I just kept going back every week, and then I found all these other open mics and just started hitting open mics every night of the week that I could.
And I'm sure that was developing your confidence.
Absolutely, yeah, it
Yeah.
helped. I mean, it was like you kind of start chipping away at the things, the things that are not good, and it's. I mean, you're always doing that. I'm still learning things. We're always
Right.
learning stuff.
Right.
But and anybody who thinks that anybody at those open mics that I remember who were really cocky and thought that they knew it all,
Yeah,
I
you
never
don't.
heard from them again.
Right,
So
right.
if you have to be open always, your whole life. The best
Right.
players I know, there are people in this area that are some of the best players in the country,
Oh,
and they're the
there
most
are.
humble
Oh, yeah.
people who are constantly learning. So I learned that too, is just to always be learning. Learn to always be learning. And then just little by little started picking up gigs, and just it's built.
How
from
did that
there.
happen? Did you do those on your own? Did you go out and seek the gigs, or did any of them come to you and like, hey, I've heard this, I heard this,
Well, what happens is, back then anyway, an open mic would create a community. So you'd have a community of musicians hanging out who are all kind of, some in all at different levels. Some are already starting to gig, some are. So they'd invite you to do a gig with them. And then, little by little, you get gigs, and then
Right.
you invite them, and then
Right.
and then I got the my friend Melissa Morris was running a songwriter series at the Burren in Davis Square in Somerville. And so I was booked to do her thing, and then she decided to give it up. And I sub-hosted for her a couple of
Really?
times, and then when she gave it up, she was like, "Do you want to take it?" And that was the best thing I could have done. I got a weekly residency where I
Nice,
would I
nice.
booked 2 other musicians,
Nice.
and I would play like at 10 o'clock. So I started getting a following there. And then I also had this thing to offer. If I wanted to go out of town and play, I could be like, we could do gig swaps and that kind of thing.
Right.
So it's really like, I think it's still really important to have that community. We're losing it a little bit because there aren't as many open mics, and I think younger musicians are now, they almost get the itch satisfied by doing an Instagram or a TikTok video rather than actually going out and performing live, which is, people don't realize how important that is.
Right. We're going to get to a little bit of that, because I remember when we were talking over the weekend, you when I mentioned Facebook or somebody, and you just said, "Oh, I'm through with social media. I'm done with social
I
media."
wish I could say that
You
and
know?
not be like full of
So you
crap.
said it like
I'm not
that, right?
totally full. Yeah,
All
I mean, you
right,
still.
all right.
It's still a necessity for
Right.
this, for what we're doing, for you, for all of this, right?
When did you start feeling that you made it? Was there a seminal moment
I don't know.
for you?
I'm still waiting.
No, come on. Anybody who has seen you will go, wow. I mean, you
Thank
played everywhere. You mentioned Danielle Miraglia, and it's like, oh, baby, everybody knows how. I'm serious.
nice.
Everybody
Thank
knows
you.
how good you are.
Well,
was there a moment when you said, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to go out on my own, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to make this a priority in my life. Was there a seminal moment for that?
I immediately decided when I would say it wasn't because I thought I was good. It was because I was just like, this is what I want to do.
Was there a moment, though? Was there something that inspired that? Did you see something, hear something, somebody say something where that moment hit you?
No, I think honestly, like the minute I started going, like as soon as I started going to open mics, I was like, this is what I'm going to pursue.
Okay.
And at the time, I was like, I was writing, I was working on a novel. I was writing poetry. I was a painter too. Like I was into visual arts. So I was juggling all these different things, and I
Right.
just said, if I don't focus on this, I was decent at a few different things, jack of all trades, master
Right.
of none kind of
Okay.
thing.
Yep.
And I just said, if I don't focus on this one thing, I'm never going to get really good at it. And I made a decision I had to drop everything else,
Cool.
Which sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I kept paint, but I'm fine with it because I don't think I could have focused and gotten really good at one thing. So I did that, and then,
Is that when you started writing songs?
well,
I know you dabbled.
no, I had
with-
already written songs
you
at that
dabbled
point.
Okay.
I had already
Did you
written
touch them
songs.
up? Were they all good? Or you had to go back and say,
Oh,
you
they're
know
good.
what?
They're all good. No, I'm done.
Well, nobody's wrong, but everybody's wrong but you, right? You wrote that one, right?
Yeah. No, I wrote a lot of terrible songs, and
I've heard most of them.
So, but then I I don't know. It's just you just kind of like you write new ones and then you get rid of the old ones,
Yep.
and it just gets a little better and better. Like I think I had one song that was like a little bit of a breakthrough song where it was like, oh, okay, this is like a songwritery song.
Which one was that?
It's called Just Won't Bite, and it's on it. It's
Okay.
like it doesn't exist anywhere right now.
Okay, you're going to
But
do it today?
No. But it's
So it
just
still
this
doesn't
cute little.
exist.
It's almost like a Nashville
Right.
style little like
Right.
country song about
Right.
trying to get someone's attention, but they won't. It's just like, I'm dangling the worm right in your face, but you just won't bite. And so it's kind of cheesy, but
Dolly Parton,
it
my
had
new guest here.
It kind of had the makings of a little bit of like a Nashville hit to it.
Right,
Actually,
right.
a woman in Nebraska covered it. So that was like the first time it was like, and I had a roommate, Kevin So, who's an amazing
I
musician.
know that name, yeah.
And he was like, oh, that song, you got to bring that to Nashville. He gave me a lot of
Right,
affirmation on that one. So it was like you get affirmation on one, and you go, all right, let me keep going.
Right.
You shouldn't need affirmation, but we do.
Right.
So
Musician now. Egos? No, you
Yeah,
don't have
right?
egos, musicians.
but really what made me go into it full time was getting laid off from my day job,
Which was?
which was, at the time I was in the IT department at a law firm.
Good for you.
I was like basically telling people to reboot their computers.
Boston-
It was
a
mostly
Boston
the
law
answer.
firm?
It was a Boston law firm,
Well,
yeah.
we have a couple of guests in the audience today whom we'll get to later who ran a law firm in
Oh,
Boston.
really? Yeah. So that was, it was like early 2000s when people were getting laid off, and
Yep.
and they brought me in the room and said, we're really sorry, we're doing layoffs. And I was like,
so you thought the Y2K
was-
boom.
yeah, exactly.
You felt subject to the Y2K boom.
but I was
right?
like, I was trying not to smile. I was
Right,
like,
right.
oh, well, that's a bummer. And I was so happy because I didn't have the guts to quit. But I really wanted to do it full time. I really
Wow.
wanted to play music full time. I had started doing some bar gigs and actually making some decent cash and stuff like that. And
Right.
stretching out the sets. I didn't have like 3
Right.
hours worth of material, but I
Right.
would like, stretch it out.
Right. So you started.
So-
So you started seriously writing song. When did you get the inspiration to move and say, you know what, I'm going to record some of my music. I'm going to create a CD. When did that start?
Probably
to hit you
too
that
soon.
bug? Too soon? Okay. Explain
Which
yourself,
everybody
please.
does. Now it's like even worse because, you figure kids now are like, oh, I'm just going to put out videos. And now they're
Right.
just out there and you can't get them back. Like
Right,
if
right.
they're not, a lot
And then
of
the
people
old
are going to
saying,
look
who
later
buys
and go, why did I do
DVDs, who
that?
buys CDs anymore, and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
but now it's just like out there, right?
it's out there, right?
Yeah, I did like this little 7-song EP.
EP, yeah.
I had a friend who had like an 8-track recorder, and he produced it, and it actually got a little bit of local,
Did it?
some local
Right.
whatever.
Did you play around and promote it? Did you get out and
I
get
did,
gigs
yeah,
to
I
go out and
probably
promote
did
it?
I did a release party at Kendall
Yeah.
Cafe. I did
Yeah.
that whole thing. So that was the first one, and then I had another little EP. Then my first full length was called Nothing Romantic, and that's the first one that I was
Mm-hmm.
like proud of. That I still play songs from it. And
Where do you get your inspirations for your songs? I mean, I certainly heard enough of them over the weekend, and I've heard you in the past. And you've got some great middle of the road kind of songs, and you got some edgy songs.
Yeah.
And you got some stuff with some teeth in it. Where do you get your inspiration for some of these songs? So let's pick a song and say, like the one you do, everybody's wrong but me. Where'd that come from?
well, that's just like it's a commentary on.
Go
you can
ahead,
say that,
shoot
but
from
it's
the-
like
shoot
it's
from
a
the hip.
commentary on that we all just think we're right in our own heads,
Uh-huh.
right? So I always preface it by saying, no matter how you lean in the world, we're a divided world right now,
Right,
but
right.
we can all agree that if everyone just thought like us, the world
Right.
would be great, right? So that's
just
really
started
the
thinking that,
inspiration
right?
for that. It's just like,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I feel pretty righteous in my own views and everything, and then I go, well, somebody else does too. The person that you
Right.
strongly disagree with feels the same way.
Exactly. And
They
it's a
think
shame
you're
that
as crazy
people
as you
can't
think
meet
they
in the middle, and people don't meet in the middle.
No,
It's
it's
like-
harder now.
Yeah,
than
it's
it
like,
used to be,
the
but-
only two people who I know who are right are you and me, and I'm beginning to have doubts about you. So, I think this might be a good time to take a little break and have the people listen to some more music.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and pick it up from there and talk about a few other things. That work for you?
Sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, sit back and listen to, once again, Miss Danielle Miraglia. We'll be back in a few.
I lost a friend today. she showed me of herself made my stomach turn. And though I tried, I couldn't keep that boat from rocking. So I lit that bridge and I watched it burn. And everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong. Oh, well, why can't they see? Everybody's wrong but me. Well, it's nice to live in a world where I'm always right. And it's easy when you got a face to place the blame. It wouldn't make my day if I could make you see the light. Then I could be gloating as we're going up in flames. And everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong. Oh, well, why can't they see? Everybody's wrong but me. I used to love to watch the shows where the bad guy wins. You know the plot where for some reason you root for him. I turn my nose up at the righteous and salute the sin. But it ain't so fun now, then it's really happening. And everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong. Oh, well, why can't they see? Everybody's wrong. Why can't they see? Everybody's wrong. Why can't they see? Everybody's wrong but me. Thank you. Call your dad, you're in a call. Last line you had is gone. The skies below, the seas above, all your shades are drawn. Shut inside, you slide and slide in deeper isolation. The knob is broke, your radio is stuck on that one station. I could burn down this house, but you're not coming near the door. There's no getting you out. My friend don't live here anymore. Hey kid, where'd you go with your peace signs and your moonbeams? The throwback John and Yoko protege. You used to sing for the meek, and now you worship a thief who'd stab you and bill you for the blade. Now long before the lights went down, you stopped taking callers. An echo in an empty hall, your world keeps getting smaller. I could burn down this house, but you're not coming near the door. There's no getting you out. My friend don't live here anymore. I miss who you were back then. Maybe I should have called before they got inside your head. You had it harder than me, you had it harder than most, broken and below. The sunlight only makes the colors fade. So you press your hands toward the heat of the devil that you know, and lie down in the comfort of the shade. Now they point out the things you lack, find your wounds and poke, wrap them in their hateful flag and tell you that you're home. could burn down this house, but you're not coming near the door. There's no getting you out. My friend don't live here anymore. My friend don't live here anymore.
Thank you.
No one man, no good. I'm a mean woman. I don't need no one man, no good. I just treat 'em like I want to. Never treat 'em, honey, like I should. You know I ain't the kind of woman who'd make your life a bed of ease. Ain't the kind of woman who'd make your life a bed of ease. But if you just wanna go out drinking, honey, won't you invite me along, please? Well, I guess I'm like a turtle hiding underneath its hiding shell. Guess I'm like a turtle hiding underneath its hiding shell. But you know I'm very well protected. Know this goddamn life too well. So call me mean, you can call me evil. I've been called much worse things around. Call me mean, you can call me evil. Yeah, yeah. I've been called much worse. Worse things around. I'm gonna take care of myself. Honey, no one's gonna dog me down. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I know that you were not disappointed with that performance. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
Now let's pick up the ball a little bit and talk about, where your music is now, and where do you plan on taking your music? Anything you want to do going forward? Do you have any plans? I know you talked about, you're still writing.
Yeah.
And where do you want to take your music?
I don't know.
Why don't you all right, put that on hold.
I just want to keep playing it.
You want
you
to
know? I
keep
don't really.
playing.
I don't.
All right, then you
Yeah,
want to keep
sorry,
playing.
I don't
Then
mean
let me ask you this then.
yeah.
You do originals and covers.
Yeah, I usually throw some covers in there just
How
to
do you
keep myself
how do you
interested.
pick your covers? How do you pick them? There are only 10 or 11 out there. How do you pick them?
There's only 10.
Yeah, how do you pick them up?
It just, I feel like it kind of just, they seep in naturally, like into the set sometimes,
No, you can do better than that. You
no,
can do better than that.
It's, I don't know. It's like, it's mostly just, if I try it and it feels good to play and sing, I'll do it.
Well, who do you listen to?
I mean, I cover a lot of Bob Dylan, and that's just by
Nothing wrong
nature
with
over
that.
the years. It's like,
Nothing wrong with that.
he's a pretty damn good songwriter. He's pretty good.
Well, once upon a time, he dressed so fine.
Yes, exactly.
And he threw the bums a dime
But
once or twice.
The other thing I think about too is like, can I bring something different to it so that I'm not just like
Make it your own, right?
doing a copy of exactly what if the person is too close to if I do something that's too close to what they do, I try not to cover. I mean, that's not I cover some stuff that Bonnie Raitt does and stuff too, which is just sometimes you just do things because you just
Right.
want to do it.
Right. Who do you
because
listen
she's
to?
certainly
If
an
I went out
influence.
and turned on the
Janis
radio in your
Joplin is
car,
another
and who do you
influence.
listen to?
I mean, when I'm just listening for joy, it's mostly stuff that I grew up on,
Okay.
Prince, Stones, even just pop songs from the '80s. Just or like some of the other day I just listened to all the glam metal bands I used to listen to in the late '80s. I just said, "Hey Siri, play this. Hey Siri, play that. Play Skid Row." Play.
All right,
So
all right.
I'll do. If I'm being honest, most of what I listen to for joy and pleasure is nostalgia that brings me back to
Cool. Cool.
childhood or just happy, joyful times. If I'm listening to study, I might dig into something that's outside of my zone or whatever.
I'm glad you said you were honest, because most of the people who come on the show, they're nothing but liars anyway.
Yeah.
I don't believe a thing that they say, so I'm glad you prefaced with honesty. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a beautiful thing when you discover something new that
Yeah.
and it's sometimes not new as in it's new to
Right.
the world, but it's just it's new to you. Like I recently started writing again because I started listening to Warren Zevon, and I had never really dug into his stuff before.
Never did a bad song.
Oh my God!
Never did a bad
and
song.
I knew the couple of popular tunes, and
Which one have you gotten into? Which one of the ones that you hadn't heard before?
"Excitable Boy" is one that I'm just that is so up
Linda
my alley.
Ronstadt did a great cover of that.
Did she really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she made it her own. It's almost the same
Yeah,
thing. Linda
yeah.
Ronstadt. And the lyrics of that, if you listen to the lyrics, they're sassy like you are.
It's just
Little testy.
it's so dark. It just goes
Very
to
dark.
such a dark
A
place,
lot of
and,
his
it, and
stuff
it's
is
with
dark.
this tone of this sort of sarcastic tone.
Yeah.
But I love that stuff, and that's sort of my that's where I live. That's where I like to live as a writer. But I feel like I had sort of a block for a few years through through the pandemic, through all that. A lot of people were I was writing so much because I had all this time. I just didn't write that much because
Right.
I was just, and there was a lot of heavy stuff in my, heavy stuff on my mind. My husband had a health scare
Right.
the year before the pandemic started. We lost a good friend during the pandemic.
Who was that?
My friend Hugh McGowan, beautiful, stunning songwriter,
Musician, yeah.
amazing guy. And so everything I was writing was kind of going into those places, and I would just be like, "Ugh, I don't want to think about this right now." Ew, feelings. I don't want feelings right now. So I was I had a real block with it,
You must have stayed
And-
away from Jeff Buckley.
Yeah, well, I go to him sometimes, but yeah, it's
Talk about deep dark and,
yeah, very dark.
slit your wrist
yeah.
after listening
yeah,
to that.
but also so stunning and beautiful,
Oh.
right? I don't mind going there, but I don't want to live in that
You don't wanna
place.
live there, right.
So it took me some time to sometimes you have to process the things that are happening in your
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
But also, so listening to Warren Zevon again, diving into his music.
Can you think
it
of some
kind
of those songs, though? Can you think Ghost in the Eaves?
Now you're
Man's-
quizzing me.
Boom-
Let's
Boom-
see.
No, I'm trying to help you. Here,
There's one that
Boom Boom
Tanya
Mancini
Donnelly and
or-
I actually covered at the end of the show we did together at the Burn a few
Yeah.
weeks ago called "Don't Let Us Get Sick," which is
Yep.
a stunning tune.
Yeah.
And then I don't know.
His
I
lyrics are
mine is-
fantastic.
He's
a great storyteller.
So the point is his stuff is very having that kind of cleverness in song. It's almost like if sometimes they tell you not to deflect with cleverness,
Right, right.
be sincere. And it's but that's where I live. So listening to him and getting into those songs made me say, well, why? Yeah, these are brilliant songs, and you
Right,
can
right.
have emotional pull and still have cleverness at the same time if you do it right. Randy Newman is amazing at that, right?
These are short people, though.
But even that,
He's a short person. Right?
that yeah. So that's like that's total sarcasm. Sometimes you can be taken seriously if you do sarcasm.
Well, I'll throw one at you. Is what about Bare Naked Ladies?
See, I only know their popular
Get
catalog.
into them.
Yeah.
You talk about left turns and you know, they set you up. You know, there's an old saying that I have is that they make you smile so they can kick you in the teeth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I love that stuff. I mean, I'm a
stuff.
comedy fan as much as I am a music fan, so
Michael,
to me it's like,
Stephen Page, the lead singer of them, is phenomenal. He's got the great voice.
Yeah.
Go deep into that. I'll send you a couple of things that
I just have that one
like.
week song just rolling in my head like
$1
it
Million?
did in the late 90s.
If I had $1 million?
Yeah, and that one.
Yeah.
It's just...
Oh, that's the throwaway song when you get into some of their
well, the
other
hits
stuff.
are always like the least good songs that you know.
Their lyrics are unbelievable.
Yeah.
You want an edge to them or little things, you know.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
All right, maybe I'll give him a chance. I'll give him another chance.
I'll force it on you.
I have this weird thing with like late 90s stuff where I'm like, it reminds me of Turmoil.
Okay, all right, okay. Lie on my couch. We'll talk about that, young lady. You were born a small child, right? But cool. Now, as far as when did you really feel that you make it? When you started associating with some of the bigger names? When, like we mentioned Peter Parchak. You were going to be on the stage. Peter Parchak is top notch.
Oh, he's the best.
You've played with
He's
some
the
of the
best
best.
person, too.
How did that evolution come when you started playing with some of the best?
Again,
when
it's
did
just,
that first
it's
kind of maybe
just
that
kind
first
of,
break happen where it?
I don't know if it was like, oh, this is a big break. I think it's more like just sort of, again, it's the community. You have to be a part of a community. There are people who come, there's like, my husband books a series now at the Burren. He books,
Great club, by the way.
It's like 10 shows a week.
It's a great room.
So that's we skipped over all of what developed into that. But the songwriter series I used to do, eventually the evolution of it was that he took it over and then he became the booker of all these amazing shows there. But people will just be like, hey, can I get a gig? You know, or whatever. Like just people who have no, it's like, come to the show, hang out, meet people, like
Great
show
food.
some interest
Good food.
other than just like, give me something.
Right.
And I think that's a big part of like getting into a scene. Or I've also never been somebody who's like, I'm going to make friends with this person because they can do this for me. I despise that. Maybe for better or for worse. Maybe I'd be like, who knows? Whatever. Like some people, they just do what they have to do to get to this level, and I've never been interested in that ever. To me, I'm like, I'd rather have a community of friends who I like being around than be like, I'm gonna pursue this particular person because they can do this or that for me. I've always, I can like sense it from a mile away when someone has that opportunist kind of vibe, and I just don't like it. So I've always shied away from being that.
Okay.
So it's always happened naturally is the point. Like I've never been like, I'm going to pursue this person because they're whatever, you know. I hang with people
some
who
of the big players you play with. Do some name dropping.
Name drop? I don't.
Yeah, drop some names. Drop some big names.
I've opened for some big people. Like
let it go.
I mean, I've opened for Buddy Guy. I didn't meet him though. I didn't get to meet him, but I opened for him.
He's very reclusive.
Yeah, I mean, I've opened for amazing people. Jimmy Vaughn, I did get to meet him, and he was super cool.
Yeah.
I opened for him a couple of nights in a row, and I opened for Betty Lavette. I've opened for Johnny Winter. I mean, I've opened for a ton of people. Doesn't mean that we're good buddies. But some people would have like been like, I got to go backstage and make sure I get to know this person so they can do this. Like if it happens naturally, it happens naturally. I'm not gonna be that person who's like
You're
in
not
their
the
face.
fangirl.
I'm not a fangirl. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I got to meet Bonnie Raitt and I gushed and I couldn't help myself. You know, I got to meet Bonnie Raitt once and I was just like, your music has meant so much to me. You know, I mean, I'm not immune to being a fan.
Did she say
she was like, how's that Frank guy doing? Yeah, he was. But she was super sweet and just very kind and like shook my hand. I was like, you know. And if it's someone like that, somebody who's been like such a huge, huge person for me, who if I'm lucky enough to get to meet somebody like that, then I kind of can't help but gush a little bit. But I'm not going to fangirl in the sense of like, hey, can I hang out with you now?
Who do you emulate? Do you emulate someone? And like when you're looking at someone and you're looking at some guitar players and singers and say, boy, I want to play. I wish I could do some of the things that she does or
Oh,
he does. And,
I mean-
who do you emulate? Who do you wish you could?
A little bit from everybody, really. It's
Really?
like, I mean, like,
You mentioned Bonnie Raitt. You
I mean,
look at
Bonnie
Raitt
Raitt,
and say,
yeah.
boy, I could play like her.
Bonnie Raitt has definitely been an influence on me. There's no denying that. Like
Mm-hmm.
guitar-wise, vocally, everything. Janis Joplin was huge for me. Is like when I, just because I was such a huge fan of hers, where to the point where I had to like really try not to just imitate her when I was singing when I
You do
first started out.
Mercedes-Benz, right? Do you do Mercedes-Benz?
I mean, sure.
I can see you
Sure.
doing that.
Sure, I do.
Other than
I
the
do
Bobby
a couple
McGee,
of.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I do. That was like the first song I could play and sing at the same
I
time.
could hear you do Cry.
All of it's so good. It's just so guttural,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But so she was huge for me. Tina Turner. Just anybody who just like just puts it out
Right,
there, just
right.
right from the gut. I love. But as far as like guitar players go, I'm always watching everybody because I'm always, especially like with lead guitar, it wasn't like my first thing that I pursued when I started playing out. I mean, I was learning when I was a kid. I was learning it, but I didn't start like soloing or playing leads until later. So I'm still kind of always working at that, and I'm always watching. Peter shows me things sometimes. I keep an eye on everything and just.
How would you describe your style? You play a picking style? Do you have any
Well, that's a whole
particular-
other thing. So
that's a whole different ball
the
of wax.
acoustic stuff is so that I learned when I was first starting to play out and write songs. I always felt like I was more comfortable with my fingers than with a pick. And I remember my friend Michael Troy, who has since passed, who was an incredible raw songwriter and just did that kind of picking style, sort of like the Dave Van Ronk style of picking, like that he
Erin
got from
Hart,
all those.
Erin,
yeah, Erin's
you know
amazing.
Erin, yeah.
Erin's she's incredible. She does that Delta blues
yeah.
stuff. But it was like, all right, where did you learn how to, how do we learn that? And he's like, Mississippi John Hurt. You have to learn Mississippi John Hurt, and that's what I did. And it was like, holy crap, this is like, so that opened up a whole world. And then getting into like those big Bill Brunsey,
the oldies, yeah.
Folkways recordings. So and then I figured out that I had kind of a knack for the alternate picking stuff.
Yeah.
And I learned it, but I also just kind of like figured out my own way to do it. And that's been the only way I've been able to do things, is to be like, I'm going to do it my own way.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
teach it that way too. When I teach a finger picking class, and I always say, it's about your own feel. Like nobody needs another guitar player who plays exactly like this other guitar player. Like find your own. Get it from your own soul. Everybody has different shaped fingers, different body, different everything, different. We all have different souls. Not
Right.
to be like woo woo about it, but
Right.
so it's going to come out different no matter what. So just find your own way with it.
Okay.
So that's how I got to playing like that, and then
Cool.
it just developed from there.
Now, I mentioned when I introduced you into the show, I called you sassy. And do you think that's appropriate? Do you think that's
I
an
don't-
appropriate moniker for you, that you're sassy?
I don't
like
know.
sassy meaning edgy, and like.
I think it depends. Sometimes I feel sassy, and sometimes I feel meek and timid.
You're neither one right
It all
now. Oh shucks, we'll get that in a little bit.
It all depends on I'm sure you've been in different environments where you
Absolutely.
feel more confident than others, where you're
Absolutely.
I'm
Then
certainly,
and then somebody will ask me something, and it's like brick wall. Now let me ask you, how easy or difficult was it being a female, coming up into somewhat of a pretty male-dominated kind of a music scene, and how easy or difficult was it for you as a female to get accepted and to break into the music scene and, earn your chops, if you would?
I don't know. I never felt like, I always I avoid people who I don't want to be around. So anybody
Really?
who would, and I've always just walked
Can you
through the
rattle off a
doors.
few? Come on.
I walk through the doors that like someone will, if someone's like, hey, come in here, I'm like, okay, I'll come
Right,
in.
right,
if
right.
someone's like, no, I'm not gonna bloody my
You're not gonna
knuckles
beat
trying
it
to get
down.
into that,
Right.
bang down that wall. Like, it's just, and you earn different places too as you keep as you develop it, there's things that I thought when I first started out that I should be doing that I definitely wasn't ready to be doing. So you realize later, oh no, it's good that I didn't get that opportunity because I wouldn't have been good enough for it yet.
I was wondering where that came from, and that is that you almost need an edge, again, as a female.
I think you have to be just comfortable
around.
around
a little bit
people.
of an edge, and that edge has to have more confidence to it.
Yeah, I don't think of myself like I don't know. I'm not like I'm a woman around a lot of. I've never thought about it that way.
Not.
So
I would never
just
look
kind
at you
of
that way.
I don't know. I just hang with cool people, and I've been lucky enough to be around people who like we have. Some of the cool, when I say cool, I don't mean cool
people.
Like he's cool.
Yeah,
I mean like
just nice
cool
people
as
you want to be
nice,
around.
like humble, cool people who are
a lot
just,
of them.
And that's who I like to be around. Whether they're, it doesn't matter. Like so, I think it's just by virtue of just being drawn to good people, who are kind and who lift you up and don't try to knock you down or don't try to just make you feel like crap.
Right.
I mean, not everyone's susceptible to it. I'm not saying I've never had a male friend say something that I thought like, oh, that's whatever. But I generally hang out with really nice people. Because I won't have it any other way.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
A couple more areas, and then we'll move on. As far as let's talk about some of the awards. You started winning some awards. You went down to Memphis. You started to get recognized. You got some trophies on your shelves and accolades and your pats on the back. Talk about some of your experiences when you were on the road, like what it was like when you won the IBC. You've been to Memphis before. You had an issue and didn't make it.
No, I didn't.
You didn't go there at all. So
I've never been down there. That year that I won the blues, the Boston one would have been my first year. I've been to Memphis, but I haven't been down for the IBC.
You haven't been for that.
I was supposed to go down for that.
I know.
And then
I was there.
And then I had an incident. My hip just went, and then I was like bedridden for the whole month of January that year, and couldn't go.
And this is certainly not disparaging against any of the other people who were there. Our friends who were competing against our friends.
Yeah.
A few of them, but when you get on there and closing it, I mean, it just went to a different level.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, it went to a different level.
Thank you.
And I was a judge, so I mean, you were a unanimous choice to go there, and it was crushing when we found out that you couldn't go there because you were so on your game that day.
Oh, thank you.
So on your game.
Thank you. It's weird because I don't even like contests. I avoided them mostly over the last I would put in for like songwriting contests and stuff like that earlier on.
Did you win any?
I never won. I always came in second or third. I have a friend who calls me bronze.
Bronze?
We were in a songwriting contest together, and I won third place. She's like, "What's up, bronze?" So I always would not quite be the winner, but I would get into the thing, And I was just at some point I was like, screw contest, this is stupid.
Right.
I'm like, I don't need some affirmation from.
Right.
But with the I don't know. That was an impulse that I went and did that Boston Blues one. I was just like, I'm going to try it this year. Why not? A bunch of years had passed, and I kept missing it. And then I saw somebody posted that they were still accepting entries, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to try it this year. So, and it ended up being such a fun night.
It was a great night.
Even if I hadn't won, I would have.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I would have enjoyed
you were
it.
hanging with Alana, if I remember
Alana's
correctly.
a good buddy, and
it's a good buddy.
So
she was on the show a couple of
blast.
times.
She's awesome.
She's great.
She's great.
But as far as some events, there was one thing that you did want to talk about that you're getting involved with, a veterans thing that you're involved with, and some of the causes that you're involved in.
Well, that's a yearly songwriting retreat that I've had the privilege of doing for the last 3 years. I'm going to do it again this year. It's called Music Therapy of the Rockies. And it's the guy Mac Bailey is actually based out in Colorado. He does it there, but then he brings it to different parts of the country. So every year in August, he brings it to North Andover, Mass. And about somewhere between 5 to 10 songwriters get paired up with veterans, and we sit with them and we hear their story, and then we write a song. We kind of co-write a song with them based on their story.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's always
Yeah, you did a
amazing
nice
and
preamble to that over the
Yeah.
weekend when you were playing, and
Yeah.
you explained that very, very nicely. And
Yeah.
people were moved by your story.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's that one. Yeah. Anyway, I still have to get permission from her to actually record that one.
Yeah, that was super. And your partner that day, let's give her a plug.
Oh, Erica Mantone.
Erica Mantone,
She's
she
a
was
good buddy, and
fantastic.
she's an amazing vocalist.
She
and-
needs to come out of that shell, though.
Oh,
she's
you think
so
she's
humble.
in a shell? Oh,
She's so humble. I mean, she was so humble. You know, I said, "Come on
She
the
is
show."
very humble.
You know,
Yeah.
come on the show. You'd think I was, putting her in prison for 6
she's
months.
like she kind of prefers to be a backup
No,
vocalist, even
I'm
though
too
she
busy,
can
I'm too
belt
busy.
it and do. She writes great songs and can do it herself
She had
too.
an
but
amazing
yeah,
voice
Yeah.
when she let loose. And then Corey,
He was great.
he was fantastic.
Yeah, young Corey
I just
Hale.
booked him today for August 6th.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Beautiful
was great.
voice. Yeah, that was cool.
I like how you pulled him in at the end. I say, "Hey,
Yeah.
harmonize."
It's like he's sitting right there,
I
and
was
we're
sitting
doing a
there,
Bruce
sitting
Springsteen
next to him,
song.
and he's
I'm
like, "Huh? What? Who? Huh? What do you want me to do?"
I want you to sing, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I throw a lot of different curveball questions at people towards the end. As far as I'll give you a two-part one. If you had to pick 4 people to put on your Mount Rushmore, who would you put up there on your Mount Rushmore?
Okay.
Living or dead?
Prince.
Any person you'd want.
Prince is number 1.
Prince.
Janice.
Yep.
Oh, this is hard. Only 4?
We'll give you an honorable mention for 5. I'll throw an
'Cause I
honorable
wanna
mention
go-
in there.
I want to go the Rolling Stones,
Okay.
and I want to go Tina Turner. But I think I want Bob Dylan on there somewhere too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, of anybody, either anybody on the ones that you picked, anybody living or dead, friend, family, foe, who would you want to sit on the park bench with for an hour?
All right. Well, I have to be honest because I can't.
I don't want you to be honest. I don't want you to be honest. You're not stepping on any toes.
No, I have to be. No, I have to be honest because.
Oh, okay.
Is this okay? Is it okay that I'm?
You
that
can
I'm
say anything.
Breaking down the fourth wall right here.
Break the
All
fourth
right.
wall.
So, your recent guest, said the same answer that I want to say.
Not a problem. Spit it out.
Because when you told me about
Billy.
yes, and I was like, that's exactly what. So say the question again.
Anybody.
You can cut that part out if
who
you want.
This is where your fourth wall just came down.
I can't lie. I'm not a
Yeah.
good. I'm not.
You said that the other day. I don't believe you.
With that, what?
I
That
said you
that
can't lie. I said I don't believe
I'm
you.
not good at it anyway.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
not good
That's
at being
better.
phony. I can try sometimes, but
Okay.
I'm not good.
All right. I'll even flower it up. You're walking through this beautiful park.
Okay.
And there's a bench over there, and you say, I wish I could sit on the bench for an hour with.
Yeah. All right. So it would be. Actually, I'm changing my.
No, come
Well,
on.
no. All right. So, but no, it would be any of my grandparents who have
Okay.
passed. Really, it would be my
Pick two of
grandfather.
them.
My grandfather, who was a trumpet player back in the day.
Uh-huh.
He was like in the big bands. I would love to sit with him
Why?
and talk to him. Because I'd love to see him again.
Okay.
and he could talk. He would talk your ear off about everything. So I would
Mm-hmm.
love to just spend an hour with him. But I would also. It's like really all of my grandparents. My grandmother on that side I never got to meet. So I would love to sit with her. Carmela. I
What
would
were the
love to
stories you heard about Carmela? What was she like?
Well, she had. I don't want to get into that
Okay,
because
all
that's
right.
too much.
Okay.
But my nanny on my father's side,
Okay.
who was like, she was just a wild.
Really?
Just she grew up in she was from Alabama, but married. She like left home when she was about 15 or 16 and traveled, married a guy in New York and had a few kids, and then escaped that situation and came up to Boston and met my grandfather and had my father and his two sisters.
Nice.
And she was just like a badass. And I only got to know her till I was about 5 because she passed away young. And I would love to just talk to her.
Did a little chip off of her block fall
Yeah.
into yours?
Yeah, maybe. I hope so. I think so. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to sit with a famous person for like, I know the answer would be like, you want to talk to somebody famous. Like, I don't really want that because then I'll just be uncomfortable for the whole time. I'd rather talk to a family member.
That's okay. You're doing pretty good here. You're doing pretty good here. But How can people get a hold of you? If people want to hear your music, you have a couple of CDs out. And
Yeah.
how can people get a hold of you? How can people hear your music?
DanielleM.com is the best place to go for the catch-all. You can get all the music there. You can go to your preferred streaming app or buy the CD. You can find all my social media links on there. So that's the place to go.
Even though you hate social
That's the
media.
easiest. Yeah, it's a love-hate. DanielleM.com is my main website.
We're going to put all that up on the screen.
And that's it. That's the place to go if you want to find everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk just a little bit about your husband, Tom, and what he does. How's he doing? Is he doing okay?
He's great, yeah.
How influential is he in your music? Does he help you or hurt you stay out of the way?
He's produced a couple of my recordings. I feel like I learned a lot about leading a band from him. He's an amazing band leader. He actually booked me my first official gig because I met him when he was running an open mic in Alston.
Nice.
At Harold's Renaissance Cafe. That's where I met him.
Really? Wow.
Yep. And so yeah, no, I mean and I think we kind of influence each other in a lot of ways,
Cool.
So.
And give a shout out to some of the places where you play.
Around here, it's
anywhere you play around here.
I mean, I love the Fallout Shelter. I should mention the Burren because that's
Of course.
our
Of
our
course.
home base, the Burren in Davis Square in Somerville.
You ever play Passim?
I do, yeah. It's been some years. Only because it's like the same size room as the Burren, and it's easier for me to get in touch with the booker at the Burren.
You have a connection
he's
there,
like,
don't
yeah,
you? You
he's
have a
like-
connection there? Okay.
Like I wake up and go, "Hey, can I have a gig?"
He answers the phone
So
on the first
he
ring,
answers
right?
the phone right away.
Right,
So
there you
that's the
go.
only reason why I haven't done as many
Cool.
things at Passim lately. But that's a historical, amazing space. I love the owners of the Burren bought Toad. It's now McCarthy's Toad, and that's like my favorite. That's been a lot of musicians' favorite place to play for the last 30 years. Just like with your band, and it's totally.
You play the
like
South
just,
Shore? You've been to Soundcheck?
I've not been to Soundcheck yet.
You haven't played there?
No,
Well,
but I love the Narrows is one of my favorites.
What about Next Page?
I haven't been there. Yeah.
Yeah. You might get a few gigs out of this, baby.
Yeah. All right. No, I haven't been there. I'd
Probably
love to,
two
though.
that I can put on your calendar.
Okay.
A lot of people get gigs from this.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Take some of the video and they see the video
Yeah.
and boom, wow, we got to get her on.
All right.
Cool.
That sounds good to me.
Anything we didn't talk about that we should have? Anything we might have missed or anything that you expected me to ask you about and didn't?
Not that I can think of.
No. We covered a lot.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
We covered a lot.
We just yapped for like a good hour or so. I think you guys ready for us to stop yapping.
Any shout outs you want to give? You shouted out to Tom. Any other shout outs? Anyone else you want to give a hello, goodbye to?
It would be like so many. There'd be a lot of people because I just have a
Whole
lot
lot
of
of
great.
people.
Yeah, but I should mention Peter Parchek because we're doing a couple of shows together. The
Yeah.
Three Kings. We do a tribute to Albert, BB, and Freddie that we did
Which
at the
is your
Fallout
favorite?
Shelter.
Which is your favorite? I have mine.
Freddie.
Really?
But BB I learn more from because I feel like I can dig into him.
I'm an
a-
Albert
You know,
guy.
actually, I think it's not nice to even like pick one, but I think as far as just like rocking out to it, I love
I'm
the
an
Freddie
Albert
King
guy.
stuff. Yeah,
I love Albert.
It's all
Albert's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, that's like it's wrong to pick one.
Yeah, I saw Peter a couple of weeks ago at that show for the Boston Blues Society.
Yeah.
He was great. And we'll get
And
him on the
Peter
show.
like really knows that stuff inside and out.
He's a
such
historian.
he's
I want to
a
have him on and
guru
just
of it,
I'll
and
ask him. I could ask him
he's
one or
the
two
most-
questions and just sit here and listen to him for an hour.
He's just
He's a historian.
the most awesome person and the greatest, like just in every way. Just such a great guitar player, and he knows all that stuff. He could play it note for note, but he has his own. He's just like he's such a original guitar player. His style, nobody plays like that.
Right.
He's got his own thing going on. He's so good.
Well, Danielle, I want to thank you for coming on. It's been a while.
I know.
I'm glad we finally pulled it off.
Yeah, thank you
and
for
you know,
having
now
me.
that you've
That was
been
fun.
here and hopefully you had some fun, that come back again sometime.
Say the word.
We've had a lot of repeat offenders on this show.
Yeah. I'll be back.
Repeat offenders. Come on, is the mic on? Okay. Well, I couldn't do this show without the fine people at Smack TV, and I have to give a big shout out all the time for Luke Asek, who was in the booth, pushing the buttons
Yeah, thank
and
you,
making
Luke.
us look and sound pretty. And also, I have some special guests in the studio who I owe a great deal of thanks for their support. We've got Bev.
Yay.
We've got the Snyders, we have the Mallets, and we have Kimberly Lieb. Thank you all for coming. And I have to give a real shout out to a couple of people who are not here today. George Carr, Donnie Cerrone, and Mao are normally here, but also a special shout out to my good friend Rich Goldman. He is a very big supporter of the show. He has some health issues that have suddenly popped up. So I want you to know, Rich, we're thinking about you here at the studio, and we can't wait for you to get better and come on back and join this group whom you know. So, Danielle, thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's been a
It was
pleasure.
fun.
For everybody here at SMAC, the studio audience, I am Frank Walsh. Tune in and tune on.